Welcome back everyone to another episode of The Raven's Eye. My name is Hugh, and today I'm going to talk to you about a couple of things that I wish I had known when I was starting on this journey. Now, number one, the first thing that I wish I had known was to check your sources. You want to make sure that the sources that you are using, they do not have any biases that are coloring their perceptions, coloring their beliefs in such a way that it distorts the material that they are working with. Now, you want to make sure that the sources that you are supporting are not in turn supporting a group or association or organization or other individuals that promote ideas of hatred or bigotry, racism, intolerance, or hate of any kind. Now, one of the big names that I see get thrown around a lot is Stephen Flowers, or Edward Thorson. Now, while Stephen Flowers does have the degrees to back it up, he is not a good source because his money that he gets from writing his books goes in turn to funding hate organizations like the AFA. He has biases that color his perception and his beliefs in such a way that it promotes hate and intolerance. Moving on. Number two. Second thing that I wish I had known when I was growing up was just how much reading I was going to have to do in order to really learn about this religion. And because there was so little written of source material from the Viking Age or early, especially earlier, in that is a first-hand account of what this religion was like, we have to fill in the gaps where we can. They don't call this the religion with homework for no reason. You have to read, you have to study, you have to look at all the little dark corners of the informational web of the world in order to really understand what this religion is and what it teaches you. Just reading the Eddas and the sagas and stopping there is not enough to really know what this religion is about and to really know what you can get from it. In order to truly understand everything, you have to take in information from a wide variety of sources and a wide variety of places. Yes, read the Eddas. Yes, read the sagas. Read the attestations of Saxo Grammaticus or Tacitus. But you have to look at other things as well. Look at the works of the ancient philosophers like Plato and Aristotle. Look at the Vedic texts. Look at the works of Zoroastrianism, Christianity, Islam, Judaism. Look at the all the texts of the Asian religions like Taoism and Shinto and Buddhism. There is value to be learned everywhere. There is value in all knowledge. And you can find things in other religions that can add to your personal practice. And as long as you are bringing honor to not only your gods, but to the original practice that you are borrowing from, you should be fine. Again, do your reading, read everything you can get your hands on, because there is a lot of information out there, and there are so many holes in what we know about this religion that we have to look wherever we can to get that information to fill those holes. Alright, so item number 3. The third thing that I wish I had known when I was starting this path. You do not have to join with the first group that you come across. Take your time whenever you're going to join a group to make sure that the group that you are joining has the same beliefs and ideals that you do, that they are going to stand for the same things that you want to stand for. You want to ensure that the group that you are going to join is going to help to make you a better person. The the relationship between a group and the individual is not one where the individual is just supposed to give to the group and get nothing in return. You should get just as much, if not more, out of being a member of the group than you have put into it. You should be able to join a group that is going to be open and accepting, is going to denounce hate and racism, one that's going to be inclusive of everybody no matter where they are from, no matter who they are. Take your time, research the group, research members of the group if you have to, but be careful. Make sure that the group that you are joining is the one that is right for you. Now, the fourth thing that I wish I had known was that you don't need to have a group that you meet with in order to honor and worship the gods. You don't have to get together with people in a physical sense in order to honor and worship the gods. You could have a community of people that only meets virtually online and can be spread out all over the world, and that is perfectly fine. There is no reason that you have to feel that the only way you can honor the gods is by getting together with your kindred in person and performing big elaborate rituals. That's not the case. While great big elaborate rituals are awesome from time to time, you don't have to feel like going out and meeting with local pagans to do these rituals is the only way that you are going to be able to find a community. Now, in this day and age, it's a lot easier to reach out there and find a community of pagans than it was when I was growing up. When I was younger, it was very hard to find groups of pagans, and when you did, more often than not, they were Wiccan. And if they weren't, more often than not, they followed a Hellenistic path. Now, there is nothing wrong with choosing one of those paths, but as time went on and the years have passed, more and more people are starting to realize that there are more options out there as far as faith goes than what they were led to believe as they were growing up. I remember as a kid, when I first found out that there was a religion out there that wasn't Christianity or Islam or Judaism, I was astounded, and instantly it grew my attraction towards paganism. But I didn't join a group of pagans until relatively recently, in the past few years. Before that, I had always been a practitioner, a sole practitioner, a solo practicer, I guess you could say. I only ever really worshipped and honored the gods on my own and in private. While I have been open about my paganism for a long time, and at various periods of my life was more open about it or more closed about it than I am now, I have always felt that it wasn't 100% necessary to have a group. That it is nice from time to time to be able to get together with other pagans in person and perform a ritual or to honor the gods. But by virtue of my growing up without being able to have that group, I have learned that it is not necessary to have that group. Alright, so the fifth thing that I wish I had known when I started down this path. I wish I had known that this path doesn't matter what other people think about it. It doesn't matter if my path is not the same as somebody else's. There is no one true way. As long as your way is correct for you, as long as you are happy with your way, and it brings happiness to you. That's all that matters. You do not need to follow the same path as somebody else. If your path lines up with someone else's, all the better, because then you have someone that can share your journey for a while. But you don't have to change your path to fit somebody else's. Don't ever feel like you need to change your path to fit somebody else's. Your path is your own, and that's all that it ever needs to be. So, now a little bonus one, the sixth thing I wish I had known when I started down this path was that I'm not crazy. Now, I grew up in a time when it was extremely unheard of to be introduced to somebody and for them to say that they were pagan or Wiccan or anything other than Christian, maybe Jewish, and on extremely rare occasions you might get an Islamic or Hindu person. So I thought I was a little crazy growing up because I wanted to worship these old gods that for all intents and purposes were treated as dead and gone. I thought I was crazy for believing in certain aspects of this faith that normal Christianized society says is wrong and doesn't exist. I know now that I'm not crazy to think that everything out there has a spirit. I'm not crazy to think that a tree has just as much value as a squirrel, and a squirrel has just as much value as I do. Remember, you are not alone. We are all in this together. We are all here to honor and worship the gods together. And whether our paths align or they diverge, just by following our paths, we are honoring our gods. We are honoring the spirits of the land, and we are honoring our ancestors. And as time goes on, this religion will evolve. It is not possible for us to recreate 100% the religion that the ancient Scandinavian people had. It is not possible for us to recreate 100% the religion of the Vikings. There is not enough surviving record of what that religion was like in order for us to piece that together. So going forward through the years, from now onward, while looking at the history is a good place for us to start, we must, like society, continue to evolve, and we must adapt ourselves to the way that the world works today. Part of that evolution has been us becoming an inclusive, open community, one that denounces bigotry and racism and denounces hate. Now, before we go, I want to say thank you to every single one of my subscribers, everyone that watches these videos. It is your support that helps to make all of this possible and helps to keep these videos coming out. So don't forget to like and comment down below, hit the subscribe button and that bell notification icon so you get notified whenever I post new videos. And you'll find down below in the description a link to the Discord where you'll be able to find all sorts of resources on pagan wisdom, different resources on the mythology. You'll even find other content creators that put out videos or other things like arts and crafts for their fellow pagans. You'll also find down there a link to the Patreon. Patreon, you can get special access to a members only area of the Discord, as well as they'll get a exclusive live stream every month and there will be more bonuses that will be coming and being announced in future videos. Once again, thank you all so very much for all of your support. I love you all, and until next time, Skål.